I am live on a Sunday. What is going on? Talk about being special. Oh my goodness. Anyways, doing a mic test here very quick. Let's make sure that the mic is working indeed. Hold on, y'all. Bluetooth. Probably should have prepped this first, to be honest. All right, it's working. I know that's working actually. I knew that, but I just needed to make sure that it was. As always, if you are just tuning in, 90% of day traders lose money day trading. So, trade at your own risk. This stream is for entertainment purposes only, not for financial advice. Open up here with the gap. E-mini down has a gap to the downside. Let's pull this on NASDAQ. What's going on? What just happened? No. Okay, there we go. Bada bang, bada bow. I was like, all right, what happened? Anyways, we are good. So, what do we have here? Got my camera facing this way today, and my screen's to my left. So right now we have NASDAQ in a 3-minute, 5-minute. The 1 minute. Let's turn to the 5 minutes. We have a gap to the downside, shot up, but we're kind of just bouncing back down now. Let's take a look at ES. ES has a gap to the downside as well. It's about an 8-point gap, looks like. NASDAQ 50 to 30, so about 20 points to the downside for a gap. Don't know what's happening here. If there's a good setup, I'll take it. If there's not, then I won't take it. Simple as that. Market's starting to kind of give it back down here a little bit. We're going to the downside. 3 minutes, 5 minutes. No trades yet. That's why you don't see any data, because I have not taken a trade yet. But right now, though, this little gap, I don't know. We do know that gaps love to get filled, but we do have upside. A lot of, I would imagine there's a lot of pressure up here to sell down. A little bit of a supply zone up here. But this gap it doesn't have to get filled now. It could be later on. That's all we know. So the goal right now is just to see if there's anything that's really worth taking. Market is not really moving too. Haven't really seen anything that's really appetizing during the Asia session. If I'm gonna be frank with y'all, could be a bull flag right here. I mean, there's a gap down here, right? But it just seems a little bit so obvious that the gap should get filled. One thing I'm really trying to understand is trying to think like an institution whenever I trade, instead of being like a retail trader, trying to understand the mindset of what it takes, of a big institution, because they're the ones that are making the big banks. So they say if you can't beat them, then join them, right? And I'm just here to make money as a day trader. Don't really have, like I said, I mentioned in a previous stream, right? Day traders don't really provide value to society. I mean, day trading is not a noble thing. If you're doing this to support your family or anything like that, yes, absolutely amazing. But day traders, we don't really provide much society unless we're able to help give money away and help the people out there. I'm switching back in between my YouTube video and then also, I guess, my Internet Explorer and my other screen for NASDAQ or ES. So I'm looking at ES right now, looking like bulls are in control. Their VWAP is being held as right now resistance. So the question is, will the market go up or will it go down? More so 50-50. But the good thing is, we don't have to trade. Just because the market's going away doesn't mean you have to enter the market. Does that make sense, y'all? Bulls back in control. What is that? 64. So that would have been 10 points. Not bad. That's usually what I take on an open on contract. Call it good. Take your money and just walk away with it. Right now. I mean, I'm not gonna chase now. If anything, I ain't gonna chase. Don't give chase. Normally like to wait for the chop and buy a little bit closer towards the bottom. That's the way I kind of like to do it. It's just so like my stop can have a good breathing room. Like if I've actually very small amount have caught the bottom before, just because it was within my setup, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take the entry here and just have my stop loss, so that way I don't want to buy up here and then set my stop loss. That's just a bigger target, just a bigger stop loss. So I normally try to like to buy down here, so my stop loss is already kind of at a reasonable spot. And if I get my stop loss, I'm just gonna put this. I'm not actually gonna enter a trade here, but when I enter a trade, I mean, let's say theoretically I get in right here, right, at this green, and my stop loss, can't talk right now, is down here. Like, hey, I now have more breathing room, and if I get taken out, that invalidates the trade. But like I said, not really enticing yet. Not really getting good trade. If anything, Asia session, I want to is if anything, I'm losing my words here. I would love to learn how to swing trade because I think Asia session has a lot of potential just to hold overnight versus New York. You can hold, but the volatility it has just makes it very hard to swing trade unless you have that capital and you're willing to risk that capital. For me, I don't have that big of an appetite as far as my stop losses and whatnot goes yet. So looking at ES here on the other side. If you're wondering why I'm moving my head around, it's because my camera's right here and it's literally blocking the screen to the other one. So sometimes it blocks my mouse, little cursor. Bulls are not giving up. I mean, bull flag is kind of playing out. And if you're asking, do you really trade bull flags and bear flags? Yes. I try to keep everything as simple as possible. There's a saying that geniuses love simplicity and idiots love complexity. It just really speaks. The more simple you can keep something, the easier it is to run that system. And you want to have, keep things in life. It's not just day trading, it's like a universal thing is the simpler you can keep things in your life, the more stress free you'll be. And you can create a system around that is easy to do, and you can replicate that time over time without having to think too much about it. And when you're taking too much of your, I guess, mental capacity, mental space to think, you're now going to be delayed. You're going to be slowing yourself down, basically. And your execution is going to be slower. And as far as, relating that to day trading, this is where you get analysis paralysis of like, oh, this EMA is usually what I do, but this other EMA is looking more enticing, but, this gap here, but, we got pivots up here. But when you keep it simple, that's what I do, just kind of speaking out loud is, oh, we're starting to consolidate. Looks like the trend is moving up. Maybe, I'll take a trade. And once you get in the trade, there's really nothing you can do. You can't pray and the market's gonna go up, right? Unless you have Powell. If you were Powell and you had his ability, you can just do a thumbs up and the market will probably go down. But if you do down, like you put a thumbs down, the market could probably go up. Hold on right here. I really need to find a better spot for my camera so I can be like facing this way and the camera's facing me. But most of the time I'm looking over here in a way, so I guess it doesn't really matter. So you're wondering what I have? There's NASDAQ 3 minute on this screen. On this half, the other half is 5 minute. And I have a 15 minute for NASDAQ, and then I have the ES. So what I like to do is just to see the two move in congruence. So NASDAQ and ES moving in congruence is what I like to see. Just got a 10-point range here, not really worth the investment. I like trading the New York session, but this is just, it's just so awkward. Asia session, it usually takes a little bit for the trend to form, like the direction that we're going to be going in. Usually within the first hour, you'll get an indication of where the market's going to be heading. You can probably go, take an entry from there. I think gold is probably the best to do like the Asia session. I've heard a lot of traders that I guess trade gold, trade during the Asia session, and they just hold. I want to get to that point too. Futures ticker GC. Okay, let's take a look at gold. Are we on where? I guess we're in G. We're in Z. Although now gold is no gap. I think gold is the move to trade overnight. Probably I haven't done enough research, and I haven't back tested it. And to be honest, I'm probably not gonna back test it. But if I'm gonna do it, I want to do some more research and just see if it's worth. I mean, everything's worth it at the end of the day. It's just how much you're willing to put into the work, right? How much you're willing to, the effort, the amount of effort you're willing to put in. But I think if I'm going to be trading or holding any swing trades, it's probably going to be gold. Because I know that gold is really good during Asia. I've never traded gold at all, but I haven't really seen gold been talked about during the New York session. A lot of traders that trade it kind of crazy, but are Asians, right? During the Asia session. And typically, I think right now it's morning for the, like in Asia. So that's also the reason why. But gold is, I think, might be where it's at to swing trade overnight. But that's a little bit down the road. Right now, we're just focused on NASDAQ. Looking back at NASDAQ here. ES still has that gap too. So I'll show you guys what I'm looking at here. So both of them, this is NASDAQ right here. If you're following my mouse, I have ES over here as well. So both of them have a gap. But we are in an uptrend. This is obviously from Friday's session. But there's a gap here that hasn't been filled. So I'm kind of just thinking in my head of like, is that gap going to get filled? Or what is NASDAQ going to do? Ultimately, what are the chances of someone speaking, maybe the Fed, and the market just starts whipping back and forth? Because I know there was one night specifically, that the market just tanked. It was crazy, and the market was moving like hundreds of points during like around my time. It's like 6 to 6:30, and I was like, this is it. One thing I love about day trading is that you can be done quick about it. Obviously, it's dangerous too, but starting to come down. Bulls are probably hanging out here, trying to squeeze in or sucker in some of the bears who are shorting here. And then what's gonna happen? It's not gonna happen, right? But theoretically, just speaking, this is my opinion, and I am entitled to it. Is they fake out the bears, squeeze them in, and then they just shoot up for a little bit. But it does the exact same thing. Maybe breaks the hundreds, and then it just tanks. But it doesn't have to happen. Let's go look at the daily though. What are we looking at here? This candle here is nasty. 400 all the way down here. 25, so that's like or 1,000 points. 1,200 points basically. Just look at that candle. But right now, your daily chart, I mean, it's breaking out. Technically, if you're a breakout trader, you buy here, you put your stop loss all the way down here, but that's 1,000 points. If you're a retail trader, I highly doubt you have the liquidity to hold into that. Just a fancy way of saying I doubt you have enough money to hold that. Some people do, but either way, that person you don't hear about. I doubt they're sitting on YouTube like me and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna take it right here." You know what I mean? So, don't think that's gonna be happening. Ooh, look at it go. Trying to sell here. Not bad though. We've moved 30 points. It's pretty good. I mean, that's not bad. Even at one mini contract, if you're trading with just one, it's like what, $600? I mean, shoot, if you made $600 a day, you can do that in 20 minutes. Sign me up. Let's do some math here. If you were theoretically a good trader and you made that much money a day, there's 5 days in a week. Now, you're not going to always be trading 5 days a week, okay, because there are days where the market is closed. So, y'all got to be smart. I think it's 356 days in a year, so let's say that you only trade 320. Multiply that by, oh wait, hold on. Yeah, that would be right. That's how much money you'd make in a year. And that's being generous. Really puts into perspective, but let's look at this here. So we're holding out here. It's going to put a trade. This is just a evaluation, just so y'all know. Looking to see if we can get tagged in right here. Looking to see the bears get a little bit squeezed out, and then we pop on back up. Turn my volume down too because my thing is loud. You can probably hear order filled. So now we really just wait. The bid's at 56, and if it's gonna keep going up, it's at 58, 59. Yeah, I doubt I'm gonna get tagged in here. Oh, maybe I will. Looking to just go for a quick scalp here, if anything, to be honest. Next 5 minutes opening. Here we go, tagged in. I'm not gonna sit around and wait for this thing to play its game. Want to see it pump back up pretty quick, see it squeeze out some of the bears. So go back up to 62.25. So the ask is at 58 right now, 59. If we can bump back into 60s, I think we could. bump back up to 62s. But right now we're holding 60 as resistance here. So as long as the bulls can get above 60, I think we can get pretty good decent push to 62. But right now bears are definitely being aggressive, but ES is pushing up a little bit as well. There we go. And just like that, we are up $200. So simple. I mean, this didn't have to happen, but if you scroll back a little bit ago, I was kind of just thinking out loud saying that the gap here just seems a little bit too obvious, right? And this is a little bit power of hindsight. So maybe I'm on my high horse here. But my confirmation to get into this trade was this candle right here formed kind of a hammer candle. And luckily, my take profit was just a small candle, right? You could just keep dumping here, but I saw that it was getting bought up and kind of just going with the trend. Like I said, there was a little bit of a bull flag going up, and ES was kind of pushing up as well, holding. So ES wasn't dumping. If ES was dumping, you know what? Let me show you. I'll just freaking show you guys. What is that? Let me just freaking show you guys. Look at that. So 5 minute, ES was doing this thing. Look at that. Bam, formed the same thing. We came back into this zone. So I looked at NASDAQ and I was like, okay, I could probably get in, just take a quick scalp. I'm not looking forward to pump all the way back up. I just want my little 10 points, you know? I want my piece of the pie and I don't want to get greedy. Because look, now the market's coming back down, but anyways, we're going to cut that out. Imagine that wasn't happening, right? All I saw on my mouse was this rejection. I knew that I didn't know. Okay, I hate it. It's one of my pet peeves when traders are like, I know it's going to do this. No, but just based on my experience of what I've seen, I guess had a hunch that the market was just gonna pump up a little bit further. So I wanted to get in and get my quick take profit. ES was holding up. It was kind of pumping up, so got my confirmation there. And you know what? Just took my trade. You know, it happened quick. That's what I love to see. Absolutely love it when the market just gives me what I want right away. And typically, whenever I'm scalp trading, if I enter a trade and the market's not really going my way right away, I typically maybe not won't enter it, but or I would want to exit if it's not happening immediately. Look at that. Talk about being freaking dude. I nailed that perfectly. You couldn't have nailed a better trade. Cool, but I mean we're up $200 in this account. I'm not mad. Just got a text message, so I gotta respond to the dude. Talk about wasn't even skill. Talk about getting lucky. Holy crap. I know that trade perfectly. Just 10 points. This is why I love scalping. I didn't get greedy with my target. And now I got what I wanted. The market can dump now. You know what? I got my money. I get sad. Greed is probably one of the biggest factors why I've seen it happen so many times. And I'm not telling you that what you should or shouldn't do, but based on my experience from what I've seen with personal experiences and watching other traders as well, is that when you get greedy, that's where things go down south really, really quick. How many times have I been up money, then take the profit, only for it to come back, stop me out? Then I get ticked off, no pun intended, that, oh man, I was up $700, but now I'm down 200. I could have taken a profit. Let me go back in. The trade's definitely going to be going back my way. Greed is the number one kill of day traders in their dreams. But I mean, it's a lot easier said than done, right? When you are in a trade and it's going the way you want to. Oh, hold on, y'all. I gotta take a call. Sorry, y'all. The mom called, and whenever the mom calls, sometimes she calls at the most inconvenient times. I'm not gonna lie, but my mom's only getting older. Parents are only getting older, and as much as it would inconvenience me sometimes, I just tell myself like, hey, it's a blessing to be able to talk to my mom while she's still here. So I want to enjoy every moment of it. I know she enjoys it too because I've moved out, and my mom, when you move out, your parents are just like, oh, come visit us. I don't go visit as much, so I'm a little bit guilty there. So if she calls, I want to talk to her, just so I mean she's happy to call and talk to me too. So that's why I was muted. anyways, not to get too sappy with my little other stuff. Look at the market here. Wow. Look right here was pitch perfect. So I am up 200, as you can see. There's a $5 commission. So I would be up 205, but there's commission. And commissions are, you have to pay commission, okay? This is real. Commissions are real. Even if you're not trading a prop firm, you're trading a personal account, you still have to pay commissions. And I think some prop firms, I don't know how they do theirs. They sometimes get away with charging a little bit more, but I'm not really worried about it. I mean, it's $5. But you will have to pay commissions for every single trade. This is not just futures too. This is options. Like, this is all out there. If you just go search it, do your own research, it's very real. But either way, not really much happening now. So ES is about, I'm looking on my other screen here, it's about like a point away from filling its gap. NASDAQ still has, so 39 right here to 34, so about 5 points, and give or take 6 points to fill that gap. But I took my one trade. I'm pretty happy, I think I might be done. We'll just hang out here. See what happens. Not much happening, but anyways, a good trade, one and done for this. It was an evaluation. I'm gonna be trading my funded accounts during the New York session, and I'm at a point where I can't take another payout too with one of my funded accounts. Sorry, y'all, that I'm yawning, but I want to build that account back up and try to get another 1,000 on that one. Kind of just taking my time with it. Really want to try to get more funded account, to be honest. I want to build up to 5, the max that this prop firm allows you to trade, and kind of just slowly get my, build my capital up from there. I could full port it, probably get a lot of money, but realistically, we should probably look at the news and see what kind of news we got coming out this week. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna pull this here. Let's go look at the economic calendar. Let's pull this over here. All right, y'all. We are now looking at the economic calendar. Let's look at the news. So tomorrow, no news. We have industrial. No news tomorrow. So tomorrow might be a slow day, or it might just be like a training day where we just head one way. Based off Friday, we were starting to move up, so the market could do that. Let's just look at this week. Tomorrow or tonight, not really any news. Tuesday, October 21st. We have no news on Tuesday. Wednesday, no news. Man, another week of no news. As long as we have volatility. Thursday, this coming week, we have jobless claims. That's 3-star news. So that's gonna be 8:30 Eastern time. So that definitely is gonna move the market a little bit there. Not really much news. Friday, we have CPI 730. That's gonna move the market. S&P 945, 10. Okay, so we have Friday. We'll have news about every 15 minutes. If you're keeping up with the news, and if you are a day trader, you need to keep up with the news. I'm not talking about like the political stuff. I mean, that does affect the market too, but if you are a day trader and you are not keeping up with the news, that is a boneheaded move, because that will it's really make or break. More than most of the time, you will blow your account. And it really doesn't even matter like how good you get, because the market whips back, usually back and forth, like it's such a big range. It moves back up and down in such a big range that it could blow your account going. either way. You're buying or selling. It's just happened to me before too. But sometimes I got lucky too. I'm very lucky. I remember actually one one time I was driving to work. It was like 7:30. I caught literally the bottom of the account. I made like $6,000 on that account. Unfortunately, didn't get to a payout on it, but sometimes you do get lucky. And on the note of being lucky, I do want to say something as well. Sometimes it's not all luck, it's skill. It's putting yourself in the position for that luck to happen, right? And it's one of my pet peeves. I say luck and I kind of joke about it here, but I really hate it when someone walks up and they're like, dude, like, you just got lucky. Like, to be honest, no. You know, it may have been a little bit luck, but in order to get lucky with anything, you have to put yourself in the position. You have to put yourself in the position to get lucky, if that makes sense. Let's say you're in sales, you're going out, you're talking to clients left and right, trying to find a client, right? Selling whatever product or service that you have. You meet some billionaire that just so happens to be in a time point in his life where he needs the product or service that you have, and you strike a deal there. A lot of people would say, oh, you got lucky because you met that guy. But here's the thing, if you didn't go out and talk to those hundreds of clients, or on that specific day, you didn't go out to talk to any clients at all, you never would have met that billionaire and you wouldn't have gotten lucky per se. So if anybody tells you, let's say you're day trading, you make a lot of money, and you're at a point where you no longer have to work a job. Let's say you make over six figures in day trading, right? People say, oh, you got lucky. No, you didn't get lucky. You worked for it. And because you put yourself in the position to, you know, for that, like you put yourself in that position, you earned, you got you got your reward. All right, let me get off my soapbox. Market's pumping back up. Testing VWAP again. We ain't getting much action, if I'm being honest. ES is starting to kind of move back up here as well. But that's my spiel on getting lucky. I'm definitely glad that the trade I only took 10 points. Normally, I still would do it too, right? Depending, I have like multiple setups. I'm not just iron to one. But I take a trade. Normally, I would have put my take profit up here. But as you can see, I'm not putting a trade here. I'm just showing you my brackets. This is what it looks like. 10 points. And this is my stop loss. 41 take profit, 50 stop loss. And you're thinking, wow, you have a negative R to R. I ain't worried about it, honey. Because normally, whenever I get in a trade, guy get taken out for take profit pretty quick. Whips up, gives me my take profit. Once I make my money, I'm done. I just back up. And really, like, doing this has kind of forced me to not be as greedy. And like I said earlier, being greedy is one of the biggest killers of accounts, whether it's personal funded from what I've experienced and what I've seen from just a lot of other traders out there. And here's the thing, like trying to reframe my mindset around I don't need the whole pie. I just need one piece of the pie. Because here's the thing, if you just take a piece of the pie little by little, eventually you're going to get enough pieces to have a whole pie. It sounds corny, but that's literally the mindset that I'm adopting. Like you have to kind of adopt that of I'm okay with taking a little because a little adds up to a lot versus the guy that wants the whole piece, like the whole pie. Sure, he's gonna pass up on opportunities left and right until he gets that opportunity to make that whole pie, but he has starved himself so much that by the time he gets that full pie, he makes that full profit, he's already blasted through so much money that all that money that he just made is now going to be spent recouping everything he lost. So now he's back to square one. All the money, the big money he made, is now a lot of it is spent just recouping his losses. Versus if the way I'm taking it is build up little wins, and by the time I get up to enough to have the whole pie, keeping the analogy going, I'm like, oh well, like I'm not really as hungry anymore. Like, hey, I still have money back. I can just keep on taking little day by day. And in the context of day trading, if you have more than just one funded account, now you can just replicate that across multiple accounts. And by the time you take out a payout on one account, you have the other accounts to take, you know, prep out on. And you don't even need multiple accounts too to really make it. As long as if you are a really great day trader, you can make it on one account. It's already been done before. It's possible. Now, is it gonna happen for you? I don't know. That's gonna be up to you. Like I said, this stream is not for financial advice, but kind of just talking off the top of my head. VWAP is turning into resistance here. Looking at ES. Technically, if we are cutting out all of this chunk over here, follow mouse, all that, we are now in a downtrend from what it looked like. VWAP is holding as resistance. Might be another 10-point range where it just chops here before the market decides to do it what it wants to do, or think if the bulls really want to take control, they would blast up, hold this, a little bit resistance, and then make its move up. But that doesn't have to happen, obviously, right? I'm kind of just thinking out loud a little bit with the trade. But we are seeing a little bit of weakness here. These upside down doji hammer or whatever candles are really sometimes deceiving, per se. Still getting that move back up. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm looking at my phone, kind of keeping myself distracted. There's not much happening, so I sometimes like to take a break from looking at the screen and just like go scroll. It's good and bad too. It's almost like a double-edged sword because I'll be looking at a video, look back at the screen and notice, oh shoot, well my setup just happened and I missed it. But it's okay, opportunities always come. And like the Python analogy that I just made, I think it's so hard to see it past the point of like there are more opportunities to come. Because sometimes you're just so caught up in that moment of like, I need to get my money back. This is the only opportunity. But seeing past that of like, hey, it's okay. More opportunities will come. It's like you're in such a rush to make the money back that it blinds you from thinking, clearly. A lot of stuff. Either way, been live for about 50 minutes here. We're not getting much action here just yet. But I mean, overall, I'm not disappointed at all with how the markets move. 40 points in about 50 minutes. It's pretty impressive for an Asia session. If there's something that I wish for, it would be the ability. If you're like, hey, I can give you wish, but you can't have superhuman powers, you can't teleport, you can't run fast. It has to be something that is not super extreme, but something that you can use as in like every day. I would want the ability just to read the charts. Like, I don't want $1 million. Just give me the ability to read the charts, know every exact, I take it back, I guess, be able to know when where the top of a bottom is, I guess just read the markets. I don't want $1 billion. Just give me the ability to make $1 billion. That would be such a neat skill. You could just be like, oh, well, the market's gonna bounce here at 533. Just go along at 25,040. You can full port. The juice is dying, guys. The juice is dying. We're holding up here. VWAP is turning into resistance. Is this going to be the lower high for the leg to go down and officially fill this whole gap? Kind of hang out at this zone down here. And that, if this doesn't hold and the market continues going down, there'll be a good chance that the market might come down to this area down here. Just looking at like the basic stuff, this is nothing that's profound, right? You would just look at this as a demand zone because we bounced off this a couple times. Could be a zone of interest if we just kept going down. But that doesn't mean that it has to happen tonight. It could happen maybe during London session. It could happen whenever. Doesn't mean that it has to happen right now. Right now, 3 minutes looking pretty toasty. Yeah, not much happening, guys. I'm sorry, sometimes this is what it looks like to day trade. Every, Not every moment's going to be super exciting. Like, oh, let me go in long here, long that. If you're just chasing that feeling of being in a trade, you're not trading. Okay. And get your psychology in order. You're just addicted to being in that trade, seeing that green and red. A lot of the times, I'm just sitting here, just waiting. Don't know how long. Could be 30 minutes, could be an hour. Who knows how long it could take. But you're just sitting waiting for the golden opportunity. Luckily, I caught mine earlier, so I was able to get my quick little 10 points. I'm trading the minis as well. I would love to try, to trade the micros, but I just can't trade the micros. I'm sorry. Part of the reason why is too is just capital. Like when I'm trading, I'm not trying to be in a trade for like hours, right? Maybe if I become a great swing trader, then yeah, but realistically, even at that point, I'm not. I just, for me, I don't like being in a trade because if I'm in a trade, I want to look at it and like walking away, forgetting about it can be tough sometimes. So props if you can swing trade, like props to you. If I'm gonna do that, I might do options as well. Maybe like put some puts and calls. Again, VWAP is holding as resistance. Let's go take a look at ES. ES is kind of following the same as well. There is a pivot down at 24,832. That's to the bottom. The top is 25,250 basically, which will be the top of oh, ES is right here. Y'all can see I haven't switched this back to NASDAQ. I was like, no wonder my trade wasn't showing up. There you go. There's a trade that I took. went long. I don't know how I timed that so perfectly. It literally took me out for take profit. But anyway, yeah, this is yeah, there's the pivots. So you have resistance up here, and you have a little bit of a zone down here as well. Kind of just thinking out loud. Market wants to continue tanking for the night for Asia session. Got a little bit of, support here. The next leg down would be down here. Barely missed the pivot point from Friday. Talk about that though. 100. I feel bad for whoever put their order up here 100 thinking they were going to get filled. Comes a couple ticks away. And one thing that'll piss me off for sure is if it's a couple ticks away from filling me. Even that where it's like one tick and you're like, oh, I should have just entered market. But, oh, okay. Bears are not giving it to the Bulls. Is this the leg down? Is this where the Bulls give up? Honestly, kind of just thinking out loud, wouldn't be a bad short if you had gotten here. Because this is what your position would be, something like that. Got the gap. Oh, nope, nope. I don't want to get in. No, no, no. I'm not trying to trade. I've already got my one trade. Not really looking for more, maybe until the New York session. But I know I mentioned it a little bit ago. I need to finish my thoughts. Whenever I'm trading, I like to be in and out, and I like to be done trading as early as I can in the day. I hate sitting in front of a screen and trading until like afternoon. Nothing like good really ever comes out of it. I'm just sitting and trading all day. It really you will drain your mental capacity to trade as well. You start to see things that are not there. So if I can get done with like the first maybe even 15, if I can get done in the first 30 seconds of the New York Open, I've done before. I think my best quickest trade, like one of the I guess quickest trades I took was about in a minute. I made $1,000, and I was like, I'm done. Walked away. Just focused on my other daily duties. It's nice. Tell you what, when you can be done trading early, because now you have the rest of your day to enjoy. Eventually, though, I want to build my capital here, and I don't want to be trading forever. It's nice, but for now, I'm just using it as more so a wheel, not wheel, I guess, a car, right? To get me from point A to point B to make some money and take that money and get to the point where I can kind of be a passive investor per se. Because you have your active income and you have your passive income, which there's really no such thing as like true passive income because you're always working in a form of some way. And I do want to say this as well. If you fully live on like passive income, I think maybe it's possible out there. You hear about a lot of millionaires that become depressed. It's because they're not doing something. So I think if you do have, the ability to become fully passive, right, where you're not having to really work much at all, you still would be working. Now, working is different because at this point, once you're making that much money, you find something that is fulfilling in your life that gives you a purpose, right? It's not something that you really find joy in, but it gives you fulfillment, gives you a purpose. You would still be doing that even if you did have a lot of money. And there's a lot of things that I want to do personally. It's great when you see someone's life change from what you were able to help them with. So that's one of my goals one day is to be also be able to help people make money. Oh, here we go. Sheesh. All right. If I wouldn't taken that trade, I would have been good, right? But no, I'm good. As you can see, I already took my trade over here. I'm happy with that. P1 was holding as resistance. If you did take that trade, props to you. Moving on down. If the bears take control down here, this gap should get filled. Doesn't move. It doesn't have to be, right? Nothing has to happen at all. I'll be honest. Nothing has to happen at all. Also, there is a delay on this stream as well, if you are wondering. But like I said, nothing has to happen. The market can do whatever it wants, and the only thing that you can do at the end of the day is control your emotions. I've learned this before, is that you control your attitude and your effort. Ulysses, welcome to the stream. Finding a break of structure. I'm gonna be honest, Ulysses, I'm probably not the right guy to ask. You know, like, oh shoot, here we go, here we go. We're going down. Yo, that's crazy. But I'll explain it the best way I can. And I just want to be honest with you and transparent too. I am not the best trade, like not the best day trader out there. But what I would normally do if I'm trying to find a break of structure, I would try to find it on a higher time frame. So right now I have the 3 minute and the 5 minute over here. What I normally would like to do is see on the bigger time frame of us actually breaking down our breaker structure on 15 minute. Realistically, this is still an uptrend, right? But if we broke down to 30 to this level, I would then look over on this smaller time frame to see if we can start forming some lower legs. But it's tough, man. Breaker structure, you can be a very good trader. It's always hard to know what is truly a breaker structure, but this technically, I guess, would be the breaker structure. So the way, you know what? Let me just tell you how I look at it. I'm gonna stop kind of contradicting myself. I trade bull flags and bear flags. For me, what I'm looking for whenever I'm looking at a breaker structure will be something like this. We started out, this was Friday session down here, all this junk. So keeping that in mind as well, we're moving up. I did take a long here as well. Let me go back down to the 5 minute. I'll break it down in 1 minute. We had this level here. Holding a little bit of a bull flag because we're going up. You have this little flag. It came down on the 3 minute chart. It pumped back up, forming a hammer candle. So I was looking at the 5 minute at the time, just looking for us to kind of squeeze out some of the orders that were down here and hold up. We came back up, turned this into resistance. This would technically now be a breakup structure because we broke under here. If that makes sense. Broke down, we came back up and we retested it. That would really be a good confirmation of breakup structure because once we broke down, I took the long here. I got, made my take profit. I made my $200, as you can tell, if you follow my mouse. Come up and retest it. We didn't break above it, and we shot down. For me, that's what I would be looking for. So now that's a breaker structure. I'm like, okay, now we're going down. But the market can do whatever it wants. The best thing, I'm always going to say is that if you see your setup, just take it. The market might come up, might come down, but the only thing that you can control is whether you place your trade or not. And after that, if you take a loss, can you control your emotions? But we do have a gap here. It might want to form a mini bear flag here and then dump down. So if we're looking at ES is kind of following the same thing. We're continuing to sell down right now. If this level here gets broken, the next leg will be down here. And if this is broken, man, that's a free fall down. There we go. Coming down here. There's a gap. This gap has not been filled yet. Pop this back on over to NASDAQ. If anything, if you're trading right now, be careful of this knife. I love trying to sometimes catch knives, but I've been cut more times than I've gotten good. I guess whatever. Sorry, I'm trying to get something to eat. Shoes, we are coming down. There we go. We're coming down to fill the gap. But yeah, I mean, the structure for an uptrend definitely has been broken. Broke down. If the bulls, I think, wanted to really hold it, they would have held this level, but they didn't. It broke down, came back up, retested this structure again, this little zone. And it was under VWAP as well. Turn that to resistance, move down. In theory, it seems easy, but sometimes it's not as easy as just that. Well, I guess technically it would be easy if you just take your trade, like I said. Trade your setup. Trade your setup and call it good. So now we have a level down here. I'm gonna draw my rectangle here. Healthy next, really demand, or I guess if it were going up, it would be demand zone, but this would be a good target level from what I'm just, thinking out loud, thinking to myself. Could be the next chop zone down here. And if this doesn't hold, the market could go down here as well, down to 24,980. So if the trend wants to continue going down, that could be not a bad level. Now, it does not have to come into the zone. What I've seen more than most of the time is it does something where it comes about maybe 10 points shy of it. It bumps back up further just to squeeze in like some of the bulls, thinking, oh, we're gonna reverse here, and then it tanks. So this is what I would be looking at right now. Might have another opportunity to get in short, but I've already made my money. Don't know how much more I would be enticed to go back in. It's starting to get dark too. The sun is starting to set. ES pumping up. ES, it came like 2 ticks away from filling the gap. NASDAQ has filled its gap though. I guess a little bit with this candle here. Kind of just thinking out loud here. I wouldn't be trying to get long here at the bottom now. I mean, you probably could if you're love trading chops. I sometimes would do that. If I find that we're coming into a range zone, I'll just take quick scalps at the top and bottom. But ultimately, we've broken the uptrend structure. This didn't hold. If the bulls wanted to take control, they would have held this down here. The 25,055, it would have bumped up. But now that we've broken down this huge candle right here is what I'm looking at. A good indication of that, hey, we might be shifting structure. That doesn't have to happen too, right? With last week, it's kind of crazy because we've just had like V movements. Kind of just thinking out loud. Could have a little bear flag here forming. Might be another leg to the downside. Control. Text trend. One thing I hate about Tradeovate is that they don't give you an option to like free draw. They just give you like these little lines. Like I don't want that. Chopping. A short play is definitely something that I would be enticed to take. It just doesn't make sense to go long here. Expecting the market to move all the way back up. I think if you're going long now at this point, to be honest, you might be down money. That's the reason why you're taking a long position. But either way, I've made my money for the Asia session. I'm very happy with that. I am going to be calling the stream here. So if y'all are up money, hey, be smart for money and don't be dumb.